On April 17, 2026, the Federal Reserve, the OCC, and the FDIC coordinated a move that effectively dismantled the post-crisis rulebook for American finance. They jointly rescinded SR 11-7, the foundational model risk guidelines that had governed Wall Street's data and risk management since 2011. For 15 years, SR 11-7 functioned as a rigid compliance checklist. Every quantitative model a bank used had to pass through exhaustive, expensive validations. While the largest banks could absorb these costs, the burden for community institutions was often disproportionate to their actual risk. The emergence of agentic AI made this model obsolete. Unlike static statistical theories, these systems react to new information and execute decisions autonomously. The old banking requirements were simply not designed for models that change their own behavior in real time. Without a radical change, regulators realized they would either paralyze the banking system with outdated red tape or shut American banks out of the AI revolution entirely. The federal problem was compounded by a growing divide at the state level. By early 2026, California, New York, and Colorado had already begun implementing their own separate, often conflicting AI safety mandates. This created a logistical nightmare for interstate banks. Trying to deploy a single AI-driven fraud defense system meant navigating a patchwork of 50 different sets of rules. This dual pressure, outdated federal rules and chaotic state interference, led to the execution of a strategy known as the Great Decoupling. The first track centers on a $30 billion asset threshold, creating a hard line. Institutions below this mark are largely exempt from exhaustive annual validations. The OCC replaced rigid mechanical checklists with a flexible system focused on actual risk. For thousands of community banks, this eliminates a primary source of regulatory friction, freeing up capital that was previously locked behind compliance paperwork. The second, more radical track of the decoupling is the explicit exemption of generative and agentic AI from traditional model risk oversight. Regulators acknowledged that applying 2011-era rules to autonomous AI would stop innovation. They admitted the technology is evolving too fast for traditional oversight. By placing AI into a separate future review category, the agencies created a temporary safe harbor. This allows Wall Street firms to experiment and deploy these tools without immediate fear of regulatory criticism. In this move, the government chose to prioritize the speed of technological integration over the immediate implementation of safety guarantees. This banking shift was supported by the Trump administration's National Policy Framework for Artificial Intelligence, which aims to centralize AI oversight in Washington. The primary tool for this centralization is the Trump America AI Act, which relies on the legal doctrine of federal preemption. Preemption allows the federal government to effectively void burdensome state-level AI laws, replacing them with a single, minimally burdensome national standard for developers. Combined with the banking carve-out, this clears the bureaucratic path for U.S. financial institutions to deploy AI at a scale that was previously impossible. This aggressive deregulation puts the United States on a direct collision course with the European Union, which has taken a much more restrictive path. This comparison matrix shows the divergence. While the U.S. relies on non-binding guidance, European banks face enforceable regulations and multi-million euro fines under the AI Act and DORA. Europe is betting on the Brussels effect, the idea that their strict standards will eventually become the global default for any international bank. The Great Decoupling is an explicit rejection of that European model. The U.S. is trading short-term regulatory certainty for a chance at long-term technological dominance. By stripping away the red tape, the federal government positioned the United States as a strategic haven for global AI capital and engineering talent. The rapid integration of agentic AI into Wall Street is intended to provide the financial advantage necessary to maintain digital hegemony. This shift in April 2026 represents a mobilization intended to secure dominance in the global technology race. 免资声明，本音频视频内容仅用于信息分析。